Yeah, I think it's extremely important to have that next step in place for college athletes like ourselves. Especially for Kadeisha and myself, we're seniors now, so of course that's our next step, what we're going to be thinking going towards. It's pretty impressive that it's been in its 4th consecutive year, I believe. That just speaks volumes of the popularity of the sport and how the game is growing, especially on the women's side. So it's exciting, and I think it's also growing throughout the world, so not just in North America, but in Europe. And it just, again, it speaks volumes of how the women's game is growing, and just it's an avenue for us to continue to play the game that we love.
Kadeisha, any comments?
Just to reiterate what Ashley said, just the popularity of this sport, and we've been watching the NWSL throughout the 4 years, so extremely excited to see what the future has to offer to both of us in that league or anywhere we decide to go.
Jennifer Gordon, Equalizer Soccer. You guys have been playing together for a really long time. You win the bronze medal. You're here. Can you just talk a little bit about what this year's been like for both of you?
Definitely, it's been a lot of soccer from January straight to the December. So I think both of us were definitely excited to finally be here at the College Cup after our 4 years of pushing to this goal. And just after winning a bronze medal, I think although we're fatigued and excited, we're still excited to be back and to train with our Mountaineer family. I think we're following when we played Penn State at the beginning of the year, and we're so excited how the team performed, and we're just ready to get back to here and just lead this team, both captains of this team. So this, with our leadership on and off the field, and how that manifests throughout this team to get us to where we are now.
You guys are obviously away at the beginning of the season, and there was also the U20 World Cup. You guys lost some players. Can you just talk about how you guys have managed to have players come in and out and still maintain a very high level?
Well, throughout the 4 years that, I've been here, there's been a lot of, opportunity to balance players who haven't been here. With ourselves, we were part of the U20 World Cup where we missed a few games. Just like this season, we had a few players who weren't there, Bianca and Riley, Vanessa, who is playing for Mexico. But I think we did a really good job at, other players stepping up, filling in those roles, and also just our team overall. We have that depth, at any given day, any player can start or any player can sub in. So I think that's just the depth that we have in our team. And it's very important because you never know with whether it's an injury or something that unexpected happens, we have to adapt in different ways in order to, be successful. So that's a big thing that, Izzo and the staff has prepared us for. You never know what's going to happen, but it's how we can react and, step up as a team collectively.
16 years ago was last time the College Cup was here in the Bay Area. And back then it was North Carolina, Notre Dame, Santa Clara, North Carolina, North Carolina, North Carolina. What made you guys think that you could go to Morgantown and get West Virginia here?
I think for myself, as just choosing Morgantown, I don't think it was, obviously it was for the soccer, but also just the family alone. Definitely huge on family, because I do have a big family. Just to come to Morgantown and make Izzo my second mom was, I think that was the number one thing on my mind. Just being at a place where I'm comfortable and with the team and with the staff members. And I think that's part of the main reasons why we're here, because this 2016 team, we're all sisters on this team, and that's what collectively brought us to this College Cup right now. I think it's just how we play for each other on and off and how are we on and off the field. Just our connection between one another is very huge on this team, and I don't think any other team I've been on is just this tight. So I'm very proud of this team, and we're not done yet, like we said, and we're so excited for this game tomorrow.
Ashley, would you care to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, going into college, there was a list of things for myself that I looked for in a school, and of course, you look at the history and their success rate, but there are a lot of other factors that played in, just like the environment, the team, the coaching staff. So, for me, West Virginia was a good fit because, just like what Kadeisha said, it's a family-based team. I felt like home when I was away, even though it's a 6-hour drive from where I live. It was just the overall feeling that I had while being there. It's what drew me to there. But also, it was a great soccer environment. I thought the coaches had a great program set in place that could develop me as a soccer player. So there's a lot of things that drew me to West Virginia, and it was, the best decision that I could ever made. And, to make it this far with the team, make history to come to the College Cup, it's amazing because to see where it started just since when I was a freshman, and before that with Izzo, being the leader for 21 years now. It's just impressive to see how far, we've come, and to be a captain, to lead this team, to be part of that is very special.
You may continue to ask questions of the student athletes, but we'll also open for questions to Coach Izzo-Brown as well.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about the importance of that Big 12 title game against TCU? Guys uncharacteristically gave up 2 early goals and still came back to win. What did you guys learn from that experience?
Keisha spoke to it, and so did Ashley. All year long, we've had different types of adversity, and I think you asked that question earlier. We've I think maybe now 10 different lineups. So we faced different obstacles all year long, but that one was huge for us. We really, really fell on our iron will and realized just how much fight we had in us and how much we did want to win and come together as a family. So I was so impressed with that type of a opportunity as a coach to see how my team, would face that type of adversity, and the way they responded. If anyone in this room saw how we came out and found 3 goals to win that game, was incredible. And the game of soccer is cruel, and typically a team that has 2 goals is going to win. But I believe that the focus and the iron will of this team behind the leadership of Kadeisha and Ashley really proved how hard and how much they really want to win for each other. So I talk a lot about West Virginia family, and to me it just showed the passion and the resilience of how much they wanted to fight for each other and to be successful.
Elliot.
Nikki, I'm sure you've been asked a lot during the tournament about this, but just being the architect of, it's kind of the question I asked the players, being the architect of turning this into a national powerhouse, is that a product of something that you thought maybe 2 decades ago, that you saw a vision, or also the combination of the fact that women's soccer has grown so much, there is parity now, so it's kind of open. I mean, Jill Ellis talks about that, opening up the U.S. national team to everybody.
Yeah, of course, Title IX has definitely helped with the parity and athletic departments, athletic directors, funding, and making every program a high level and a great opportunity to develop as a young woman. So that has really helped the environment of women's soccer and put us on this type of stage at such a high level. I'm in my 2 decades, I've been so impressed to see the growth of women's soccer and just how far we've come and the type of professional atmosphere that most colleges invest in. So that's been incredible. My journey at West Virginia has always been, creating something and then realizing just if you have a special people in place, anything can happen, and it was just a matter of time. For those of you that have never gone to West Virginia, it's an incredibly special place because of the people. We have great facilities and a great environment for young young student athletes to develop, and I've had great teams in the past. This isn't our first. This is our first Final Four, but we've knocked on the door. But this team has proven super special, and it just needed a super special team to push us to this point.
Other questions? Elliot.
I'll ask a follow-up, but I'll start by saying my mom's from Kimball, so we know a little bit about West Virginia. Again, did you have a strategy when you said, you know what, Morgantown's a small place, it's the kind of place that we could have this kind of program?
If you don't believe in what you're doing, you'll never get to the top of the mountain. And West Virginia is all about mountains. So I definitely felt that we had short-term goals, or I had short-term goals and long-term goals. And there was a lot of little short-term goals when you start a program when there was nothing. But I always felt that we could be here, and it was just going to take the right timing with the right team. And Keisha and Ashley definitely believed in the vision, and I talked to them a lot about their individual development, but also the goal was to always win a national championship. If you go back, 20 years, you'll hear me speak to that, because I did, you see different programs. Of course, Anson's had tremendous success, but you look at other programs that have won a national championship, and what separated West Virginia, and why not West Virginia. And those were the things I just needed to get in place. We needed facilities. We needed, things. And athletic directors sometimes don't like to hear us coaches ask for things, but we needed those important facilities or important things in place. And it was just chiseling it one step at a time. But there were definitely short-term goals and long-term goals, but I never lost sight of wanting to be number one. And when you're in this game or any game, that's the goal. And if you're not competitive and you're not hard-nosed and you don't have that iron will as a coach, I could never ask that of them. So I'm always pushing, and they'll tell you that, sometimes maybe too much, but that was always the point, and I truly believe that someday we would get here, and even if we didn't, I still would have been thinking the same thing, because I needed to be pushing everybody.
Elliot.
I always have questions, sorry. Can you talk about just the dynamic of coaching? You have two national team players sitting next to you, elite world-class players. So you have to obviously work with the Canadian national team in some way or something, but talk about that dynamic. It seems to have been working really well.
It is. It was always difficult, because my thought process was always protecting both of them, their education and their opportunity to play at West Virginia. So, we always worked very well with Canada, but I was always worried about them. As they say, sometimes I'm like their mom away from home. I believe strongly in education is their foundation, but Canada and myself were always communicating, always trying to get a plan that these two young ladies had to manage and manage well. It was never easy on them. We always tried at West Virginia to make it easy and to make sure that there was no bumps in the road, because having those responsibilities are difficult. Like Keisha spoke to, she hasn't stopped since January. So we just wanted to make sure that the village at West Virginia, because it took a village to make sure academically and athletically and personally these young women were okay. But it's been a tremendous opportunity for me to work with Team Canada. I think both of us feel our programs are number one, so we would push and pull, but I always respected their national team demands, because ultimately that's the goal. So I always made sure that they felt that West Virginia was in full support of that, and it was an awesome opportunity for me to support Canada and these two young women.
Other questions? Elliot.
Kadeisha, how tired are you at this moment going into your final games of the season?
Not tired enough.
Definitely not tired at all. I'm definitely so excited for these next two games coming up this weekend, and more than that, I think it's just the will and the mentality. If you want to win it, you got to go after it. I think for me, just go hard or go home. So I think that's it.
You know, just like Keisha said, I mean, we have a lot of games under obviously our belt, and we could think about letting fatigue set in, but at this point we want to win, so that's the furthest thing from our mind. It's do whatever it takes to win, and we're really not tired unless you tell yourself you are.